week go, I have no idea. Big welcome back to Angel today. Angel's been away for a little bit, and it's wonderful to have her back in the chair and making sure we press all the right buttons and getting everything right. No sound from Gary. Everyone else okay with the sound scenario? I think it may be an issue with you, Gary. Yep. Angel can hear me. And maybe an issue with you, Gary. Sound is good with Paul P. And howdy to you too, mate. All right, I'll continue. And Gary, obviously you can't hear me. I will send you a message if I can do that. You appear to have an issue. To Gary. All good here, mate. There we go. So he should be able to fix that up. All right. As I said, it is Thursday, which of course means that it is quiz day. So I hope you've got your pencil sharpened and ready to have your education on all things, could be anything, broadened by the quiz, which will be upcoming. So a big welcome to the Th's. I get myself every time. I should write it down. The Thursday Theatre of Thoughtfulness. Let's see what's about for the day thus far. Firstly, of course, we'll go and see if the pound versus the US dollar is in breakout mode. Yeah, look, I don't mind it, to be fair, in terms of the range, which is there to, let's say, there. So all of yesterday and what's happened today thus far. Issues, of course, there are very seldom days where there aren't issues. Can we overcome them is the question. So if we get our entry above the weekly pivot far enough, say above that swing high, we could conceivably, it's a bit of a level there, we might have to get it up to there, say. Stop loss there, say, gives us 80, let's say 85 pips. Have we got 85 pips up our sleeve? Oh, my goodness. I can not quite eke out 85 pips. But I think we could take a couple of pips off that and get an early TP1. I don't think it'd be that bad, would it? And going t'other way, what have we got underneath us? I'll have to go a bit wider than that to see what we've got underneath it. So if we entered there, say, and actually be below, about there somewhere, we've got what, 85 pips. Doesn't work, does it? Yeah, it's a bit tough. We'll have to leave it, guys. If you were trading the breakout of today, that would look a whole lot better. Let me just have a look at that. Not that I'm going to change the rules, but once again, there's a resistance area there and a support area. It's unreal. Right there and right there. And of course, you've got the weekly pivot. Leave it alone. Wait till it breaks and then try and trade it. So it's a no from me on the pound versus the US dollar. I see Ashes in the room. That can only mean one thing.
There might be a trade, mate. It's going to be as we open. So maybe he's going to need you just to get ready for it. It looks like a long on the FTSE. The problem is that we're not going to get the signal that we need. So it's going to be a bit of a punt in many respects. I'll show you what we're looking at.
Shorting.
What's that, sorry?
I just said sure thing.
Yeah.
But I abbreviated it to shorting.
Shorting.
Just because I can. There's no other reason. Why would you just drop one letter? It doesn't make sense, does it?
There we go. Oh, gosh, I can't get my charts right, mate. Yeah, oh, no, that's not good.
Give me a whistle if you want me to do something.
Okay, I think that's okay. Right, I'm just having a quick look here. Oh, mate, we should be in, right?
In where?
Should be able to see my charts.
Not yet.
Oh, really?
Nope. Well, I can't. What can I see? Actually, I'm not seeing anything. Angel, can we see Ash's charts? I can't see the offline thing.
That should be better.
There we go.
Right, so you can see it's here on the hourly. Just there, we're right on top of the support line, just there. Yeah, right on top of the support line, just there. But it's a bit high. It's definitely bullish. Now, if it doesn't happen here, the next line down is here. Now, obviously, I'm going to prefer this one. And I'm going to, because it's just a little bit below that line, I'm not going to take it now. It might still go up from here, but I'm going to have to take a pass on it because I don't love it. And we'd have had to take it straight away. It looks really bullish, but it would be great if it could just drift down to this point. If it drifts down to this point, we're in much better shape because it's just a little bit cheaper. And, you know, this is right on breakout. And to trade the retracement on what it broke out yesterday on the first bar of the day, I think it's just a little bit tenuous. But if this does now start to pick up, then I guess what we could try and do is if it picks up, closes above, and then comes back down again. But ultimately, that would be better. So 75.28, I'm going to go for here, mate, as a possible trade. Oh, there we go. Now I see what's going on. So 75.28. So we got 75.49. So we're looking for around about a 20 pip dip to the downside here. And if that transpires, then I'll be going long on the FTSE. Like it, it's the FTSE's been a pretty resilient market. Yesterday I took a trade long, and because of the first contact rule, I came out with a very small gain, and it just went for another six times what I'd made.
You got in down here. You got in down here somewhere. Did you down?
I got in at the bottom down here. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm using
here.
my pointer where you aren't thinking everyone can see it. Of course they can't.
Yeah,
that's exactly where I was pointing. Yeah.
I'll show you. So my first contact obviously was this point here. So I got in at the low, came out of first contact, and then the FTSE just decided that it was going to climb for the rest of the day. It came through there, that point there, climbed for the rest of the day. So there was another nearly 80 pips on offer, and you know, you consider I made 40 probably. There was another sort of like 2 times what I made. I thought it was 6, but it's actually 2. So another 2 times what I made yesterday. And it's keen, you know, the FTSE's keen, as I say. This may well be the point that it decides to continue to go higher at. Which is fine. I'm not adverse to going in here. Anybody goes in long here, I think you're okay, because I think even if it comes down here, it's coming back up here and probably to this point here. But I'm not going to do that. I don't like the fact that it closed. I mean, it's only just below, but it's probably enough to suggest that there might be a little bit more flushing out before we.
The market does appear to have an appetite for risk.
It does, doesn't it? And amazingly, really. I mean, you see the NASDAQ yesterday, it got absolutely hammered. And yet it's bounced back a little bit again today. If we have a quick look around. I
must confess I haven't seen anything since Monday because I've been really, really busy. But I've had a brief 45-minute session with myself prior to the show. And these are the things that I've noticed. There does appear to be a risk on that attitude out there.
Yeah, there is. I mean, this is the NASDAQ from right at the end of the day. Just drop. Hey, John, dropping down, and then we see a little bit of a recovery today. The silver trade that I'm in, and I don't know if anybody else is sort of still in this trade, but the silver trade I'm in is also playing ball. You know, it's rock and roll right now on silver.
A bit of a breakout there, isn't there? Look at that. Double bottom, mate. Higher low.
Yeah. The only disappointment for me is it didn't come back for me to add to it. You know, I wanted to go in at 22.60 and it went back to 22.80. I think it was the Empire State manufacturing numbers came out and it drove it back to the upside again. And, you know, gold and silver look to be on their way. You know, it's difficult to say for sure. I think gold has still got a few points to break from, but you can see that gold is also breaking out you know, at this point. So gold and silver look to be
Is
on
that
their
resistance, however?
way. Sorry, say that again.
Is at a resistance level there, however, by the look of it.
It looks like it, doesn't it? Yeah, it's still got to get through this point here. But if it does, I think
there's too horizontal.
There's some open water for gold. You know what? With silver, I'm going to split my decision on it as well, because this one, it's got, I think the trend line is probably about there. I think it's got a little bit further on silver. And the reason I choose this one rather than this one here is because it would be in conjunction with that level there, which, you know, depending on when it happened, it might be a little bit higher. It might even get up to these highs. But I think there's a horizontal level somewhere in this zone that would be better to look for a take profit area. So I won't be closing the position until this point. And I've got another account that I'm just going to leave that position open and see what happens, because there's a possibility silver goes to 50, you know, over the course of the next couple of years, possibly. And I might just you know, take a punt on it and see what it can return. But yeah, as you say, mate, the market is a funny one. You know, certainly the FTSE has been keen, you know, for investors. It's been an industry that's done very, very well. And if you played the hedge trade, FTSE long, Nasdaq short, which hasn't worked for about 2 years, you'd be quids in right now with very little risk on your hands, because you've managed to get your FTSE long after going on the Nasdaq short. So looking pretty good, mate. FTSE is holding that level quite nicely. I don't think I'm going to be able to go in here today. I would normally. There's a couple of signs on the barometers which suggest that the top line is being sliced off a little bit. Royal Dutch Shell down a shade, AstraZeneca down a shade, and it is just a shade, and HSBC down a shade. But Unilever pumping to the upside after some pretty poor trading days for Unilever after they were trying to do a deal and weren't able to get that across the line. I'm not sure if they've got that across the line now, but that's certainly going pretty well. Rio Tinto around about 0.5% to the upside, and Diageo the other side. So Unilever and Diageo, the consumer staples stocks, weren't doing very well for quite some time, but those two are a bit of an outperformer today. GlaxoSmithKline down 1.5%, and I wonder whether because it's the Unilever GlaxoSmithKline deal, which seems to be problematic. Don't know if you remember on Monday, but then the market was just green across the screen. But Unilever was down 1.5%, sorry, 4%, 5%, and Glaxo was up 5%, and that's because they are trying to do this deal, and I think that the deal wasn't going through. Helped Glaxo, it damaged Unilever. Today, the flip of that, Unilever up 1.7%, Glaxo up down near the same. So I need to look into to see whether the deal is actually now getting pushed through, and that's why we're seeing a reversal in those two stocks' fortunes. But other than that, not a great deal of confidence necessarily today, albeit not particularly bearish either. So I think it could be about picking the right price today. This may be it, but I'm not going to go for it. I'm going to see if I can get just a little bit lower. So coming, as I say, around about a 20-25 pip moves to the downside, and I'll try and pick it up down here instead.
Okay, I've got a few things to look at.
Yeah, let's have a look at those.
So I shall. I'm pretty bearish the euro versus the dollar and versus the Aussie. You would have heard me, anybody who's been in this room for any amount of time would have heard my very favorite level on euro dollar is
115.
You Wally, 113.60.
113.60.
Yeah, you knew that.
You know, he's in and around.
Waiting to see if anybody else did right. So guess where we are? We're at 113.60. Yeah, exactly. There's a good reason why 113.60 is a strong level. That's the weekly chart I'm looking at. Whenever we get there, it just hangs around. Here we have been 113.60 for the longest time. It's a weekly chart. What, 2 months? Every time we get there, we spend a lot of time there, with one exception there. We're only there for a month. but it just hangs around, hangs around, hangs around. So I'm of the opinion that we'll get a few more trades out of 113.60, and we've had a very clear, in my mind, false break of that level. For that reason, but not only for that reason, I see a short opportunity here. Now, it is a breakout. If you don't like trading breakouts, and I'm not a huge fan of trading breakouts, this is one of them. However, I think it's reasonably okay. And the reason I say that is because it is a double cross of the monthly pivot as well. The only thing that that is a little bit concerning is it's a bad price to get in at. And similar to what you were saying before, if I can get in here on this trade rather than here, I'm a happy chappy. There's also the weekly pivot to consider, but you can see that there's that level 113.60. It just can't get through it. When it does, comes back to it, it either bounces off it or it declares it as a false break. That's a monthly trade line, or trend line rather. Sorry, it's a weekly trend line that it's bouncing off as well. Price is bouncing off as well. It's also the top of a channel that's coming off. I actually like this. I think it's a good scenario. So if you want to follow that one, the entry is at 113.13. And I've got, what, 54 pips. So 113.67 is my stop loss on that. First take profits will be just here before the lows. And the second take profit will be just here before the low. Now, I don't expect that will be the end of euro dollar going short, but as I said before, 113.60 is a very strong level. Wouldn't surprise me if we hang around here for quite some time. I'm dead keen to get short euro Aussie, but it won't let me. I can't see a reason other than my bias to get into this just yet. But if this candle on the daily chart were to turn into a bullish bar, then I've got a reason, because I've got a clear false break of the resistance trade line. If I can find a way today on a 4-hour chart, 1-hour chart, 30-minute chart, I most certainly will have a go at that. But at this point in time, I'm actually seeing the opposite. I'm seeing short-term, long scenario here. I'm not keen on either, to be honest. We've got a double whammy here with the daily pivot dead ahead. We've got a resistance level there. We've got the other pivot sitting here. So if I'm keen to trade this at all, I'm looking at a double bottom, and short doesn't make sense from here at the moment. So I want price to get up here. Yes, I do. To trade it there is very, very tough at this moment. But here's where I'd like to get into euro Aussie short up here somewhere.
Yeah, I think you're right, mate. You know, it's an interesting one because the euro is definitely the kind of weak runt in the pack from what I can see.
I wish I was still in euro CAD actually.
Yeah, yeah, that would have been a great trade actually with the oil.
Hey, it's 1 year ago, 1 week ago.
Is it? Oh, when did you you came out in December? Did you?
Yeah, just before Christmas. Yep. Yeah. Didn't make it to Christmas.
Didn't make it to
Nearly,
Christmas.
But
fair play to you, mate. John's short on the Nasdaq 16,189, which is a 1,000 pip move. So well done to John. That's brilliant, brilliant trade, mate. And I have to say, maybe you're more of a polar bear. I mean, I don't know whether that's the case or not, but maybe you're more of a long-term trader. I don't know. That may be something we can discuss when you're on air. But that's a fantastic
There's
trade.
Nothing wrong with that.
I think I'd say your Euro CAD trade might go down in the annals of history, annals of Trading Buddies history. It was almost held as long as the show was.
Almost. I'm looking for more because I like being in those ones, but they're not that obvious that often, obviously.
Well, I have to say, mate. I mean, the Nasdaq is a great trade short at the minute. I think it's the one that I would have the most bearish bias on. And they don't often kind of come up like this, but I think the Nasdaq's screaming for downside.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
And we say that often, but it doesn't happen that often when the charts are absolutely telling you that you have to do something. Pardon me. And they're the ones that we're looking for all the time, of course. Yeah. And sadly, it's like anything, you never get the perfect level, you never get the perfect candle pattern, you never get the perfect scenario. But sometimes, just sometimes, they are sitting there and you go, holy dooly, got to be in that.
Yeah.
If you know what holy dooly means, I'm not sure you probably do.
No, I don't, but I can take a guess. I was in the Nasdaq short, but I came out. I came out of the support line, but I think it is something to hold, and we can talk about where it might go later on. But I think it's a good trade. I don't know. It's not really something that you tend to look at, but if there's any time that you get a chance, have a quick look at it, mate, because it looks like the fundamentals just don't stack up for it. That's the bottom line.
So is this Nasdaq still?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There are a few other things that I wanted to look at. CAD Swiss. I placed an order on CAD Swiss. It was the trade of the week, or in the trade of the week category. I think the trade of the week was Kiwi dollar / Kiwi yen, as I pointed out on Monday. Kiwi dollar has gone well. Kiwi yen, just about entry, I think. I still like CAD Swiss short, but it's very, very tough to trade it right now. I like the fact that we're still at the top of this range. We do have a lower high potential here, but it's a red candle. If that was a green candle, I probably would have placed an order, taking profit at the weekly pivot, and then seeing if we could get a result out of that. Tough to trade right now, really tough to trade right now. I've got to get it back under here again, I think, and it's probably too late for that. CAD yen was another of the game changer bars, or was it? Not sure, but there was no entry there. Price hasn't been near the entry level. Euro Swissy was a good game changer bar, indicating that you needed to go short here. Had you done so and taken profit at the monthly pivot, you'd be okay at the moment. I don't think the risk to reward here was great, and you're still looking at, in my opinion, a bullish engulfing bar, potential inverted head and shoulders. I'm not sure this is going short at all, but gee whiz, I can't get bullish the euro either. So I think I'm better out of this than in it, frankly. Pound Swissy, again, great game changer bar. I thought this was the second best of the weekly game changers. Hasn't done a thing. You're just below entry here at the moment. I don't even think you would have taken profit here had you taken that. So you'd be in a really, why isn't that happening? And generally, when that's not happening, you're going to think something else might be happening.
Were you long on that, mate, or short?
This would have been a short.
And that's the pound short. Is that pound the pound Swissy short?
Yeah.
Pound short. Yeah. Do you know? Okay. So developments on the Boris Johnson story is gonna aid this trade, I would say. Okay. Conservative MPs are trying to get 54 votes to the 1922 committee chairman, Graham Brady. And if they do, they table that. It's effectively a table of no confidence. And then there's going to be a vote to go through Parliament. This week, the vultures really have circled, and they are circling faster and lower. So Boris Johnson's days as unchallenged, I should say. We don't know whether he will lose the job, but his days unchallenged as Prime Minister are look to be numbered, and those numbers look pretty small. So there's every chance that those 54 votes get put in. Now, some MPs believe that could happen by the end of this week, and if that was to happen, then we're going to get that vote of no confidence going into next week. So the pound is going to suffer, I would have thought, from the back of that.
You would have thought, yet it's still one of the strongest on the board for the last week or so. And
do you know what? The pound is in good shape, and we've now opened up everything. So there's announcements now: no face masks, no distancing, nothing. We're going to be the first country to do that, and that is going to suggest that the economy is going to do a whole lot better. which is probably one of the reasons that the pound is doing so well. But that could be the stick in the cog, if you like. You know, if they do put that no confidence vote through, then that does create some uncertainty about the Prime Minister. So the pound may at least wobble. It may not turn around. I doubt it will, but it may at least wobble with that particular announcement. So if you've got a game changer bar, it could well play out for a while.
Yeah, well, it's there. As I said, I thought this was the second best of them. The other one didn't trigger, so I'm guessing, therefore, that this is probably better than the other one. But it does concern me that it hasn't gone on yet. I don't like it when it hangs around at entry for a long, long time. It's suggesting
maybe they're waiting. Maybe they're waiting. It's possible the game changer bar actually came in when the announcement was that they were going to table, to table this no confidence vote, and it's possible that it's hanging around because they haven't been able to get the 54 votes yet. So if the 54 come in, then maybe it does react, and if it doesn't, maybe it holds.
Well, I'll tell you what. If it gets to here and gives me another game changer bar, I can totally see this forming as an inverted head and shoulders. Makes perfect sense. You know, technically, it's a beautiful scenario. If it does get to here, give me a reversal bar. I think that would be where I would like to get in, most definitely. We shall see. Kiwi Swissy was another game changer bar. It triggered. Again, I said I didn't think this was a good reward to risk scenario, and therefore didn't take the trade. Similar to what I've just said, really. It has triggered, hasn't gone on with the job. You wouldn't have got a TP1 out of that, I don't think, and you'd be in a quandary as to why hasn't it happened? Well, there is a great support level there to start with. That would be one reason. I think I'd like to see this break and get retested, or be a false break of resistance before I got into that. Need more space between entry and those lows. Euro pound's a weird one. It won't come back into this range, but kind of did. And that's this bar here. Eminently a setup, but gee whiz. Why did they give me such a big print? I actually don't mind it. 56. It's not too bad. I might have to rethink that one. I saw that candle form when I had a look at the charts. Saw that candle had formed when I had a look at the charts a little bit earlier. And I thought, false break scenario. It's just taken a long time to develop, and it's a big candle. But it's exactly what I've been looking for. And you might recall I traded this early, trying to anticipate that happening, and got rolled over. But now that's exactly what we're looking for. Got a higher low. Sorry, we've got a clean out bar here as well. So it might have picked up a few stops. Yeah, I'm not going to trade it yet, but it's still there in my mind. Just still there in my mind. It was indeed a game changer bar to the short side. I believe. No, it wasn't. It wasn't a daily on Friday. That was that bar. Yep. Too difficult to trade. Not Friday. Tuesday. Friday is there. That was the game changer bar. Gotcha. Dolly and don't want to talk about it. The two that I was interested in, I said before, were Kiwi yen and Kiwi dollar. Again, Kiwi yen wasn't a game changer bar, but was suggesting to me that it was coming off the weekly pivot. Bit of a potential reversal there in those three bars. I thought that was a potential trade down to this trade line at least, confluence with the horizontal level, and Kiwi US dollar, which did take off when it set up on, was the day? No, it didn't set up really. There was no entry, but that was kind of what I was looking for. I can't see a way in there, frankly. Maybe that bar there. Maybe that bar there. But yeah. But it's done exactly what we anticipated it would, come back to the bottom of that ascending channel. And what happens next? Well, we're probably looking for it to go back up there. We shall see. I like the fact that the dollar index has set up for a long breakout below that range It is a little, apart from being a horizontal level, is a little trade line. Breakout, consolidate, re-entry above it, retested it with a tiny little bar yesterday. That's giving me the indication that this is going to take on a resistance level of some kind, whether it's a trade line or a trend line, as that is. Whether it's these highs, I'm not too sure, but there is a strong indication here to me that the dollar index is going back to here at some stage, and that shouldn't be too long. So I'm anticipating dollar strength today and tomorrow, which plays into my euro dollar short scenario. And that's another reason why I'm happy to go short euro dollar. So that's pretty much where I'm at, mates. I don't see too much else that I need to be concerned about. I like, and I'm going to continue to watch euro dollar. It's giving me a little indication here that this is as far as it wants to go today, just above 113.60. We're at 113.61 at the moment. Should I get a lower high sitting in here, or anything that looks like a false break of resistance, we've got an untested daily pivot below us, I'd be jumping all over that if I do get the setup. So looking for euro dollar shorts on any time frame at the moment. And that's where I'm at.
Brilliant. I like that, mate. I think the euro is a terrible currency. FTSE's easing down, so we may well get triggered. And I have put an order in at 75.32, so we'll see what gives there. So I'm looking for around about another 13 pip dip to the downside, and I'm going to attempt to go long on the FTSE 100, which have we got time to show you before the quiz? We do. We got a couple minutes, so I'm going to show you this last thing, and then we will get to the quiz and talk to John about that amazing Nasdaq trade. And we'll also just have a quick look at the Nasdaq, because there is also an inverted head and shoulders that is popping into play on the Nasdaq. Now I want to show you that screen there, so let's have a look at it. So this is the FTSE currently. So I'm just waiting for about another 10 pip run here. That's where my order is. So I'm coming in here hopefully. We'll see what happens. See if I get in, but somewhere in this zone, you know, no guarantees that it's going to come and touch this lower trend line. But if it does, then I'll be in. Now I always get a bit concerned that I haven't quite calculated with the spread properly. So anywhere in this zone. And if I need to cancel the order and go in manually, I will. But that's where I'm looking. So if you look on your charts, then you will see either if you're in the futures, you're looking at 75, or if you're doing the same as me, obviously not a trade advice because we aren't qualified to do that. 75.32 is the level. If you're on UK 100, then just look at the 15-minute chart pattern, and it looks something like this, where I'm using this bottom support line, this bottom support line, and a trend line that goes from the 19th of January, 19th of January at 8:45 by the looks of things, going up to around about the 19th of January at 8:45 in the evening, so 20:45.
I think we might have lost Ash momentarily. Reboot, Ash, reboot. Okay, it looks like we have lost him. So with that said, let's talk to John. G'day, buddy. Can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Absolutely.
Yeah,
how's your mother's ducks, mate?
It's good. It's good. It's better than an English batting lineup, so you can't complain.
say that again.
It's better than the English batting lineup, yes. So I can't complain.
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with the English batting lineup. They just performed
exactly
as you would anticipate they would against the Australian fast bowlers.
Yeah.
Wow, that was insane. What happened on Sunday night? Just ridiculous.
Yeah, it was. What's the word I'm looking for? For me, it was inevitable. I just watched it. I thought, there's no way we're getting out of this. I'm going to the bar. So
I actually thought they might get out of it because they look good.
No, you're an optimist. I've watched English cricket for too long. when it's almost like, oh, we might get out of this. No, and once one goes down, that's it. There's no.
Yeah, it was like 10 pins, man.
And then once the Aussie fasters, once they get a sniff of it, That's it. It's all over.
Yeah, there's blood in the water, isn't there? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ash, did you finish, mate? Did you need to add?
I don't think I do. I think hopefully everybody got it. If you need me to clarify, then I'm happy to do so. But there's a neckline. The neckline that I think is there on the Nasdaq is going to be somewhere around probably about another 1,000 pips below where we are now. Maybe not quite as much. 14,400 or something is going to be a decent level. Anything between 14,400 and 14,300, I think, is a level on the Nasdaq to be potentially taking profit. At that point, I would see a bounce, and then you've got the real trade to the downside coming. In my opinion.
Let's have a look at the chart after we've wrapped up the Thursday Theatre of Thoughtfulness with let's
do that. Okay, all right, that sounds good. Let's do that. Let's do quiz time, and then we'll get to one last bit of analysis and see what John thinks about the Nasdaq as well.
I can see three little Indians now on the euro dollar 30-minute chart as well. It's all adding up for a short euro.
That's good.
Okay, it's another not dangerous quiz.
It's dangerous because it can expose our ineptitude.
No. Okay, which VAC got told no? Shake and vac, vacuum pack, no vac, or value pack?
Poor old Novak. He's getting all the gags coming, isn't he now?
He should have thought about it before he didn't take it. Sorry. Yeah, I had no sympathy whatsoever.
Wasn't that C?
Oh, my apologies. Yes, it is C.
Oh, I put D because John put D.
In my defense, it's not a defense, but in my defense, my wife started a new job across the city a couple of weeks ago, so I've just taken over driving her there and back, and I've done this at speed, so there could be the odd
don't
time.
worry, we'll pick you up.
Yeah. You'll have to swing in one of those Shane Warnes behind my wickets.
But I mean, seriously, if you're a non-vaxxer named Novak, come on.
Got it.
How can that possibly be?
You can't. Yeah, you can't do it.
Yeah, unfortunate name really for him, isn't it?
Oh yes, I've got one of those as well. Which one of these blew this week? You've got to know what they all are, of course.
I don't know what two of them are. I'll have to go with the one that's got the obvious name in it, I suppose.
Yeah, it's B. Some of these are in because this one, that they still have the pipeline on the floor for the internet and things, and that's out for about 2 or 3 weeks, I think.
Well, my FTSE long is in, by the way. I'm wanting to focus on this, and it's close enough. So FTSE long's in the market. Okay, now I'm with you. Which country is thinking about grabbing a little more land? I think I know about this one.
China, the USA, Russia, or Canada?
I mean, this is the thing. We haven't really talked about the fact that this is also going to be a driver at some point. It's very aggressive, isn't it?
Yeah, it's probably going to affect energy prices.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah. This really could put the cat amongst the pigeons for the final nail in the coffin. Just to kind of mess around with a couple of proverbs.
Who's still hanging on with the nobody told me excuse? Jim Beam, Johnny Walker, Boris Johnson, or Jack Daniels?
Yeah, he's on it again, isn't he?
He's in it. If I was in town, I might go down to Ladbrokes and put a lazy £1.50 on this guy surviving. 50 MP.
Yeah, do you know, John? He is so unbelievably resilient, isn't he?
Yeah, he's going to be an advert for, what was that, Teflon, no stick?
Yeah.
He's a smooth operator.
It's quite amazing. It really is. It's incredible that the way that Boris Johnson manages to survive.
Hey Gary, you and I are swapping answers, mate.
Yeah, it's this Zoom, man. It does some weird things.
This Zoom, yes.
This is Zoom. It's just like, I'm glad it's not.
I could be talking to Boris Johnson shortly.
Well, Which
If anybody's in that FTSE trade, let me know if you are, because I'll tell you where I'm coming out for the take profit. It's not a big move coming out of where it broke below, basically. So if anybody's in that, let me know.
Which oil producer suffered a terrorist attack this week?
Oh.
Yep, don't know.
Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, or the UAE?
Oh, was
Us?
Yeah, obviously they're not a major producer, but it was,
well, in that case, it can't be C.
The storage tanks got a bit of a going over. This is to do with Yemeni rebels. This week's Know Your Trade. I avoid this one. I looked at it and I looked at the price of this stuff, and there's no way I would ever trade this. My account size can never.
Pretty high, yeah.
Oh, it's just nuts.
But whilst ever we're using batteries, we'll be using copper.
Yeah. Which museum has just reopened its door? Now, this is a left field call, but the British Museum.
Left field.
It is a little bit. I didn't realize. Oh, look at that! It's obviously somebody's got it. I'm impressed.
Somebody.
I'm
still going with Gary.
Yeah. South Georgia.
Yeah, I put the answer, didn't I, Gary?
South Georgia. The only reason that's always in my sort of chain of thoughts is the Falklands War.
The only reason I went for that is why the hell would you put South Georgia there if it wasn't the answer?
I know. I just thought it was quite a good one. Okay, the Aldi supermarket has just opened what? Plastic-free supermarket, a alcohol-free supermarket, a checkout-free supermarket, an additive-free supermarket. But this one, I've been waiting to see this.
Yeah, the only one that makes sense is that one.
Yeah, but I was just thinking actually C could be it, couldn't it? Because that would mean they've basically got nobody working there anymore. Is that what you mean by checkout?
Well, they've got that now.
Oh, they've got that now, have they? Nobody working.
Nobody works there. There's no staff. There's only they got checkouts, so you can't get rid of checkouts. How can you get rid of checkouts? What?
The only reason that this caught my eye, back in the day, my wife's father, his first go into the share buying market was Tesco. Tesco shares, right at the beginning. He said, this is the future of it. He went into the first Tesco up in Macclesfield, wherever it was. So I looked at this, I thought, no jobs.
So can you give me more information on this, please, John? Or I'll look it up later if you can't.
I thought this is mind-blowing because you go in and you don't have to scan anything. There must be when you go in there, the prices you just scan your stuff that you're going to get. It prices it and then it goes.
So is that the gun? You take the gun out and you scan as you go around?
It must be.
Your gun.
I mean, I've seen it before. They did try this in.
Yeah, we've got it.
We
got combinations of that stuff over here, haven't we? We got you got the gun, or you can go to self-service, or you can actually go and see somebody on a checkout. So, I guess
maybe
you're
still checking out at the end of the day.
You're still checking out, yeah.
Yeah.
How do you pay?
Checking out was. No, I think what caught my eye with this one is that there was nobody on the checkout counters at all. So,
okay.
So this is what this caught my eye here in Malaysia. If we want to go on, you got the B roads and what you'd call A roads. All A roads are toll roads. And when I first came here, you handed them your 2 ringgits to the person at the till, and then they let you through. Now they are all automated. There are nobody working there. So I'm thinking, oh, I wonder where all those people worked in that have gone. Now this one's the same. I'm gonna. Oh,
I can get that because that you used to use e-tags or they take your number plate photo, but that's only one item. If you have 50 items in the shopping trolley, how the hell are they going to do that?
It was just the idea that nobody was working there.
Yeah, it's weird.
So I thought, would share prices in places like Aldi go up?
Well, I mean, wages are a huge issue, aren't they, for any company, or a huge drain of any company's top line. So yeah, you'd think so.
Who's the odd one out? It could be for lots of different reasons, but
it could, but I'll go with that reason. Yep.
This week's musical question. If you didn't know it, there's quite a famous dance that goes on every year. Which song might you hear played at the annual Central Bank Ball? Take a Chance on Me,
Wow.
The Gambler, Money for Nothing, or I Want Money.
All four, I would have thought, but the annual Central Bank Ball. Let's go with.
It's a very famous dance played virtually all year round, actually. Sorry, all of them. No, I was just stuck for a last question. I thought, okay, that'll do.
All of them.
Sorry.
That was my answer, right? That was my
Yes, you got the
answer.
right answer. I thought, are you reading my questions? How are you doing that?
Oh, that was a good question.
Yeah, I was just stuck in a bit of traffic coming back, which was full of trucks. So even though we're still in a lockdown, I think the economy, stuff's out on the roads. The transportation's out on the road. So
Right now, Ash, how's your trade? And then let's talk about John's trade.
Okay, yeah, let's have a quick look at the trade. Let's do this. Where are we at? Okay, actually still moving to the downside, which is okay, because I will go in again. Now the question is going to be where. So you can see here, there is a chart. I'm only looking at this as a take profit. So now it's burst through this level. If it comes back up again, I'm going to take profit here. It could come down to this point, and then if it comes down to that point, then that's going to be the take profit point there. So the question will be, will there be enough in that 17s? Yeah, that would be okay. That would be okay if it managed to get to there. Now, it might be that might still not it might be that that's not the best point to take the trade. So really, what I might do. Yeah, if it doesn't hold here, mate, I'm not going to go in at the daily. I'm gonna leave it alone, and I'm going to follow it down to the weekly. And if see if it holds at the weekly, I think I'll take my second trade at the weekly pivot. So going to be around about another 80 pips away from where we are now. I think that would be better. Really with the maths as well as the risk. Because the risk going up, yes, there could be, you could get out of the trade that's moving to the downside just a bit earlier. But I think, trying to leave a big enough gap between these 2 points would be better, because that's an 80 pip gap, which means that around about the 40 pip mark, which is even before you get to the daily pivot, you're a break even. If it comes down here today, which it could do, it's not that far down. So yeah, my next trade is going to be there, mate. Probably the likelihood is it's not going to come down there today. If it does, great, I'm in. If it doesn't, then I'll be ignoring it until tomorrow. So that's my take on it. So, of course, it could still burst to the upside from here. There's a chance it could happen. What the other option, of course, is if it comes down here and bounces up to break even, to take that trade off the table, which I may well do. But I quite like the FTSE. I still think the FTSE's got some room to run. I think the FTSE has got a chance to get up to this point and see these highs here. I think it's got a chance to get up there. So I think there's some longer term moves that's still going to play out with the FTSE. So happy to trade that one long. The Nasdaq, just before we do sort of finish it off with the Nasdaq, this is what I was talking about earlier on. Head and shoulders pattern forming on the Nasdaq, and I would have thought that this would be the area that would be sensible to think about taking profit, because what I see with the Nasdaq, what may well happen if these patterns play out, is that it does come into this line, pops up, and then you get the real trade, which is going to potentially fall below, and then we start to see a real waterfall effect. And really, you know, the Nasdaq could go anywhere. It really could fall quite some way, purely because the inevitable scenario is now potentially playing out, where you just get a situation where this explosion to the upside that you know has been seen not to be sustainable for quite some time. It might not go quite to that point. It might be there on the Nasdaq. It might only be another 400 pips, but it's going to be within this zone that I'd be looking for a bounce on the Nasdaq to make that right shoulder. But this, you know, inevitably, as I say, when you see these parabolic moves, they do tend to get reversed somewhat, and the Nasdaq, you know, actually could find this point as a support line before it manages to level off, which is around about the 12,000 mark. So possible the Nasdaq's got some serious room to run, but I think there will probably be a bounce before that happens. That's what I'll be looking at.
So John's trade was. Let's see.
John was been up here. Just a bit lower. Down to around about there. Now, was it after what was it after, John? What time frame triggered you in?
I've taken some other short trades above that, but I'd taken them out, and this is like one that I said, right, I'm going to hold this down.
Brilliant.
And even though I'm English, I don't understand the FTSE 100. I don't understand it enough. Whereas this one, I was following it enough. There's only 6 companies or so, the big ones at the top, holding it up. Yeah. And everything else is getting hammered. But also, I thought, well, it's all tech, and I remember was it the .com?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought, right, okay. I went in very light. Was it 0.10?
Yep.
And I held it.
I think that's good, mate. So,
the only reason I could hold it is because I'd had that trade I took with the pound New Zealand, which I'm out, which I'm really furious about because it's carried on going up.
Yeah.
But never mind, that's it. My belief is that it will keep on going down.
Yeah, I think so. You may well be a polar bear, mate. You may well be somebody that enjoys holding on to these trades for a little bit longer.
I like doing that, but I also, with this end, I also like following things on the 30-minute and 15-minute chart.
Yeah,
that's what I.
Do you know? I think that's okay. You know, because I have a similar approach where my first trade is always a short-term one. And then I'll turn it into a long-term trade if things don't go the way that I'd expect straight away. Then I'll turn it into a long-term trade, and I quite like that approach. I think it's quite sound. I suppose you would have seen as well.
Costs on the Nasdaq.
My holding
not if you trade the futures.
Is I've been holding this since the 5th of January. It's $1.70.
5th of January. Okay, that's good. Good on you.
If you're gonna, just incidentally, John, if you're gonna hold a position, it's better to trade the futures than it is the cash, because when you trade the futures, your cost is done. So you open up the Nasdaq here, the cost between the buy and the sell price is 2 pips.
Yeah.
Now, if you put that trade on, you've paid your 2 pips, and then you got it for 3 months because the futures last for a quarter, so you don't pay anything.
So I'm going to come up with I'm going to sound like a bit of a dunce here, So I've got my NAS 100. So the one I'm trading is not that.
Yours is a CFD. So
Yeah.
so yours will be like the cash. You know, it's like
Yeah.
it's a. I don't know what that product is that they offer. I don't know how you describe it, but effectively they charge you overnight costs for holding the position, right?
Yes.
Whereas if you trade NAS 100 FS, which is the futures market, then you've got no holding costs because your trade is for the 3 months. You know that it's a futures. You know, you're trading the futures contract.
Yeah,
which lasts for the 3 months.
It's something I've just learned, so I'll try that one.
Right. Well, this is why I
of course your broker's got to offer that as well.
True.
That's true. That's true. But this is why I trade FTSE futures, because the initial trade it costs more. And over the time, you know, because I'm in and out, I really should trade the cash because it's a pip cheaper. So you add that up over a year, that's quite a few pips I'm giving back. However, the reason I don't do that is because it gives me some security if I've got to hold the position for a little bit. Like, you know, with the one I've just been talking about, with this FTSE trade, if I've got to re-enter down here and hold it for a couple of days, then all of a sudden I'm well, maybe hold it for a week, then all of a sudden I'm starting to make my money back. Now I've been in trades for 3 months. In fact, silver's a good example of this. Silver's a futures trade. So I've paid my costs on silver already, and I've got until March before I've got to pay any more costs on it. And they'll just roll over the contract and they'll charge me whatever pip amount I've got on. So I'm hoping this will close down by March. It'll be done, so I won't have to pay any costs. But this is why I've traded this, because I'm holding it, and I bought it down here. So we're now, what are we on daily? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're nearly 2 weeks in to the trade, and I would have had to pay some holding costs on that for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
So I always trade futures. That's just my way, you know. If you're looking to get in and out, definitely not futures. If you're using stop losses, and you want to get in and out, don't do futures. It's too expensive. But if you've got this approach where sometimes you might have to hold a position, then it's well worth considering trading the futures if you're needing to hold a position.
I will look at that one.
Yeah.
It's quite a sort of. It's not obviously it's new, but the idea of holding it. Actually, I found it. You know, you probably don't now because you've done it for a long time. But when things are going against me, you know, you're sweating like buggy. What's going on? And then actually, when it's going for you, the first time it was going for me, I had the same feeling on the opposite side.
Yeah. I always said that.
I'm giving it. Hang on, I'm in the front, but I'm feeling just as bad. I thought there's something wrong here. You get yourself to the fridge and we'll close the lid. So, yeah. It's a wave. I applied a bit of music. I'll be honest. It's not a trading thing at all. It was like a wave. I thought, well, this is at the top, not at the top. And I thought, well, okay, these guys are losing money. This is at the top. Going on, you know, going small. Would it work all the time? No. I'm still. When it comes closer in, you know, when you're in the 30-minute ranges and 15-minute ranges, I'm watching it. That I would imagine that skill of trading that is not with me yet.
Yeah. It's well, it's interesting. What were you going to say, Jeff, on that when John said about being in front?
I experienced the same thing when I was backing horse races. You know, how long ago now? 45 years ago, when I was backing horse races, and the thrill of winning was exactly the same in magnitude as the disappointment of losing. So it was an absolute seesaw. So you'd be up 1 minute, down the next, up 1 minute, down the next. Normally with horses, it's down, 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 down. And that's exactly what I experienced. But I exactly hear what you're saying, John. The emotive reaction is equal and opposite. To quote Sir Isaac Newton. Is it Newton? I think it was Newton.
He'll do.
Close enough. He's one of them. Yeah.
Yeah,
but that's true.
It's an interesting thing. Yeah, interesting part of the psychology, isn't it? And I suppose that's why the approach is so holistic. It's not just kind of like going, yeah, you know, I'm a hunting dog. I come out here. It's kind of like being able to kind of go, right. Well, if that's the way I'm going to trade, this is the way I'm going to set up my day to be able to handle that. And you know, and you know, set my limits and my targets, and be done, and go off and do something else, come back and check it, because then you're taking the emotion out of it. And I suppose the emotional driver that that we get from trading is it's a blessing and a curse. And one of the reasons I love trading so much is that you get instant feedback. That's the brilliant thing, you know. It's just like from any hobby, any job, any pastime that you really enjoy, you need feedback. You need to know how you're progressing. You learn the piano. You kind of like need to know that there's something that clicks. I get that, and then you start to move forward. You know, you kind of you go to a job and you need somebody, whether it's a boss or some superior, saying you're doing great. You know, that kind of feedback. You need that. The great thing about trading is that feedback is there instantly. You know, it's you are able to get an instant reaction from your decision.
That's why I went from horses to dogs. Greyhounds go much faster. Your pain is over your pain is over far quicker. Do I see a crypto queen in the room?
Yes, here is the person that did crypto before I did. Here's the boss.
Oh, do you know what?
I know nothing.
No, she knows everything.
Lovely to meet you. I noticed that John had Daedalus on his laptop. Have you been trading some ADA as well, the both of you?
ADA we have in there, and we have ADA, XRP, XLM, Rose. They're all coins which could be used for payment or things like that. And we buy them and we hold them. Did you
get into Meld?
No. What else have I got? I've got Algorand.
Okay.
XRP,
is that
XLM.
You're talking foreign language.
Rose.
It's like Dothraki. You're speaking
I've got
Dothraki.
a little bit of Mina, some Casper, New Cipher. Yeah, that's it. But they're all.
So this is something that you both do together, is that right?
No, I think I was the first one to get a crypto wallet, wasn't I? And buy Bitcoin, and I start buying things with it.
Yeah.
And then he said, "Oh, I'm going to do this," and so then I was showing him how to set up a wallet, and then I just get the money from the bank and send it to his wallet or wherever he does it in whatever. But he's actually doing all the buying of all the strange coins. I'm just Bitcoin and Ethereum, honestly.
Do you know what? I'm more on your side of the fence. I think I don't like all the strange stuff. I got a friend constantly texting me. Have you seen what was he talking about recently? Starling. Have you seen Starling? Then he sends me a plethora of videos that I should watch to kind of research this thing. Yeah, and I think if you stick to, it's a bit like stocks, isn't it? If you stick to blue chip stocks, blue chip cryptocurrencies, and wait for there to be a correction on those things, then you're going to be in relatively safe shape, I would say. Of course, you're not going to make those big bucks.
And give somebody who knows what they're doing some money and say.
You can do that. yeah, exactly.
Starling is a crypto-friendly bank, isn't it? It's sort of like an online bank, is it?
Is which one? Sorry.
Starling. I've heard lots of people recommend
it. Oh, Starling. No, it's this metaverse coin. To be honest, I didn't watch any of the videos. But my friends sent me these videos, but I didn't have time to watch them all. But no, it's a metaverse thing. So because everybody's talking about this metaverse thing, aren't they? And I think Starling is something. Except you, mate. Yeah. I mean, it's probably gonna. It looks like it's the next step. It does look like it's the next step, and I guess we need to stay abreast with it. Starling.
So that's on Wikipedia already. I can look that up.
You'll find it. Honestly, mate, have a look into the metaverse, because it is where the internet is going, and you know, we have made the jump from read-only pages. You know, when the internet started, it was just read-only. Then it's sort of interacting with the internet, and now we're sort of like getting a point where supposedly it's going to be a decentralized area where people would be effectively making their own internet in some respects. But of course, that won't be the case because the likes of Mark Zuckerberg will own it.
Yeah.
But it is the next step. It's definitely where we're going.
Right, to keep abreast of it. I'm going to go back. I'm in the middle of doing online parent consultations.
No, we'll leave you soon. Lovely to meet you anyway.
Yeah, you
indeed.
Thanks.
Have a good one.
She just come in to check my spelling. Normally Helen checks
spelling.
checks my quiz before I throw it out.
Oh, very good.
Today she didn't because she had to do that. But yeah. Also, my first wallet I set up on crypto, Helen said, write all this stuff down. And I went, yeah. And I locked myself out of my first wallet. But
really? Yeah, that's interesting.
There was nothing in it, though, but I did learn on that one.
Yeah, big mistake that some people make, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't trade them. I just get them and hold them.
You know, it's so weird. I wish I could pull out the recording from, I don't know how many years ago. It'd be 3-4 years ago, maybe not 2-3 years ago, where we were having this conversation about, the market's a little bit different these days. It's not doing what it used to do and blah, 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 blah. And I said, who knows? One day we'll be trading cryptocurrency. I got laughed.
I think I said never.
I got laughed at. I absolutely
got
laughed at. Yes, here some people are. Not me. I can't get into it, but
I know.
Yeah, here we are.
It's the modern way, mate. It is the modern way, and who knows what's going to be next. And this is the thing, you're saying the same thing about the metaverse, but you'll probably be the Einstein on it in 6 months' time.
No, I'm bloody sure I won't. Absolutely sure I won't. but the other thing was, going back 10 years ago, 10 years? Might be 11 years ago, I was in a room similar to this, not the same, with my first mentor, or my only mentor, and we were talking about euro, because we only ever traded euro dollar. That's it, 30-minute chart. So we'd sit there and so just like I said earlier, if this happens, then I'll trade it, but otherwise nothing's going to happen. So we just sit there and talk about trading in general. And he said to me, I was looking at this thing called Bitcoin the other day. He said you should have a look at that. And I said, yeah, righto, I'll do that. Never did, of course. He bought some. Did
he?
So he's done well. Yeah.
Oh, fair play. Amazing.
Well. And here I still work for a living.
You'll be on the next one, mate. You'll be on the next one.
Yeah, whatever that. No, I won't. Somebody might put something on it for me, but I won't.
Yeah. Well, you're quite happy, and that's ultimately all this stuff's about.
That's what we do it for.
That's what we do it for. Really, I mean, I.
That's why you get out of bed,
trading.
isn't it, really?
I love trading, mate. I really, really love trading, and I never really thought that trading also not apart from being really enjoyable, as I say, instant feedback. There's a sense that you need to sort of discover more. There's always sort of like learning to be done, but you don't need to. You can stay at a level and make money. I like that. But to have a community as well of people and make friends from trading and stuff like that. It's not really sort of something that I would have imagined when somebody was talking to me about it would be the case. Because you imagine everybody in the financial
and look what happened. Look what happened. We've got now people all over the world that we're friends with.
Yeah, exactly, and there's the people sort of years ago. I think that I always thought people in the financial industry were just all a bunch of money grabbing sharks. Yeah, just
Yeah,
but
all
people
them.
aren't like that.
No,
people aren't like that.
Most of them do go to the pub at midday and stay there. That's still the case.
Yeah. Anyway, let's wrap it up, mate. It's the end of the week, and we can all go in and start enjoying our weekends. I'm going to manage this FTSE trade as we go. As I say, I'm still liking it down here, so that's going to be my take on this. Let it fall, and we'll see where we end up next Monday.
Euro's coming down. It just needs to pull back and give me a setup now, and we'll be good to go with the Euro short. Euro Aussie, I've got to wait for that to rally before I can get it short. But I think I'm probably just as keen on Euro Aussie short as I am Euro dollar short. Aussie got another good print on employment figures today.
Yeah, and I saw that.
Trending amazingly down is the unemployment figure. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So that won't hurt the Aussie, that's for sure.
No, it won't. I mean, it's one of the reasons that the Aussie is suffering is because they just don't seem very keen to move. You know, the central bank seems quite happy with the stimulus.
Yeah, look, I don't think they're silly. I think if the Fed moves too fast,
yeah,
too much, I think that'll cause worse issues, and I think they'll be wrong because
the Fed?
Yes,
yeah,
and I said this last time when they went, what did they go 4 times in the first year that they started moving?
Yeah.
I think they're wrong because I wasn't when this inflation thing started. I thought, I don't know. I'm not an economist. I really don't know the answer to it. Is it transitory? Is it here to stay? Blah blah blah. Then, as everything developed, and the pundits kept saying this is transitory, some of them got off and said no, it's here to stay. And what I see in front of my own eyes is massive inflation. Price inflation is unbelievable in everything I look at. You know, groceries, because of the supply chain issues, it's unbelievable. But as soon as that solves itself or resolves, then I totally see inflation not being a thing, or as big a thing as it is now. But you can't ignore the numbers. I get that the numbers are crazy, and I'm experiencing that and witnessing that every single day. But I think that will change. Why? Because I think the supply chains will come back online, and I think everything will settle down. I think COVID, whilst we have to live with COVID, everyone will accept that. The numbers of that will come down again. So I don't know about these interest rates. I just think, okay, we're going to see them rise. I've got no doubt about that. But is it right? Not sure.
I think you make a good point, and I think what is also potentially on the cards. I don't know if you saw the 20-year yield curve, but the yield curve between the 20 and 30 has flipped. Now that is usually a bit of a danger sign for potential recessions, because what they're saying is that the later down the line they won't be able to sustain the interest rate hike. So they're saying that there's going to be something that is going to turn that over again. So whether so the shorter term interest rate goes above the longer term interest rate, saying okay, they're going to raise them in the short term, but they're going to have to flip that position. So then you get this flipping of a yield curve, and that's what the market is telling us. The market is telling us that the exactly what you're saying. They go too fast, they're going to have to flip it all the way back around again, and before we know it, we've had 4 rate hikes and then 5 rate drops. You know, it seems to be the way that the market is looking at this. Things are very tenuous, you know.
Yep, interesting. I'll leave it to others to work that out, way above my pay grade. But if the charts keep telling me to go long or short, that's what I'll do. It's just pretty much that simple for me.
Yeah. Cool, man. All right. Thanks so much, John. As always, great quiz, mate. Jeff, thanks for being my trading buddy as always. Great to have Angel back in the room, I have to say.
Totally. She's been very quiet, but just lovely to see her back.
Yeah. So thanks for helping us out, Angel. Can't tell you how much you missed. Jeff was running the show last week, and
total failure technically.
Wasn't quite as on the ball as you. Anyway, we will. Trading is. Oh yes. Oh, thanks, sir. Paul says that trading is where he looks forward to Mondays and he hates weekends. Yeah. Do you know what? I would encourage you to get your weekend up and running. You know, get the motor running all weekend. Because I know what you mean about that. You kind of look forward to the trading week starting, but it can be actually just as bad for your trading not to really enjoy the time away from the chart. So I'd really encourage you to go and find something that you really want to do on the weekend and go and enjoy it. You are welcome,
but
Angel.
Also, the dedicate a couple of hours to looking at what you've done last week and what you're potentially going to do from tomorrow as well. And I'm talking about Sunday,
Yes.
because Saturday I just tend not to even think about it. Except this Saturday, I've got another presentation doing on this Saturday.
Yeah.
Oof.
A busy week for you, mate.
Yeah.
Okay, mate. Well, enjoy your weekend as well, and no worries, Paul. We'll see you soon. All right. Thanks again to everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Happy days, guys. Thanks for being our trading buddies, and Angel, welcome back. Catch you later. Bye bye.